Welcome to Saturday at VidCon. How are you all doing? My name is Rosianna, and I'm here to introduce two brothers who you may know from Vlog Brothers, Crash Course, those videos that your teacher puts on, SciShow, a handful of books that sold all right, and an immense performance last night. Did anyone see the one? Or a comedy podcast about death. Oh, and they created this thing called VidCon. It's been a big year in Nerdfighteria, and without further ado, I'd like to bring on John and Hank Green.
Hello, friends.
This is really big.
Hi, thank you so much for being here, Hank.
I'm glad we can be on a stage together, but really far apart. I think it would be...
I don't have to look at this guy.
It'd be bad if we were too close together.
Thank
you don't want to...
Thank you guys so much. Hey, Hank, can I borrow your phone?
Okay.
Thanks. Hey, so a sad thing happened. I mean, in the scheme of things, not that sad. I lost my video camera. I don't have any footage from VidCon. But I got to make a video on Tuesday, so I'm hoping that you can say good morning, Hank. It's Tuesday for me. If only I knew where Hank's camera was. Where's your camera?
John. You just do the thing where you just slide it up.
Great. This is a great time to be learning. Great.
And then
great time to be learning. Okay. If you could just, on 3, say good morning, Hank. It's Tuesday. Ready?
That's a photo.
That's a photo. I'm not very good at making videos. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. My name's John Green. That's my brother Hank. Thanks to everybody who's watching live inside the internet.
Yeah, we're live streaming. Hello, internet.
We are so happy to see you here. We are so grateful to you for being here. We want to answer your questions. You can use the hashtag on Twitter, NFVidCon 2016. Also, I sponsor, or I should say really you sponsor, a 4th-tier English soccer team. That is now a 3rd-tier English soccer team. That's the first piece of news I wanted to say. It's been a great year for Nerdfighteria, but the best part of it, in my opinion, by far, is the fact that we now sponsor a 3rd-tier English soccer team. We're on our way to the Premier League.
I have a question, John.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's going to be harder for you to get your sponsorship?
I'm going to make it work, Hank. So we've got some stuff we want to talk about with you today. We want to talk about what a year it's been for Nerdfighteria, what's happened this year, some stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes that we get to debut to you today, which we are so freaking excited about. So I'm going to start that right now. We're going to go to my phone. This is my actual phone, and now we're going to see some footage from my actual phone very shortly. This is the new Crash Course website. You can go there right now to thecrashcourse.com, and you can watch all of the Crash Course videos, every class from anatomy to world history. And if you go here to the Downloads tab, you can see lots of stuff. There's a store. Thank you for your Crash Course merch. There's our YouTube channel, Crash Course Kids. You can contact us. That's really important. We especially want to hear from teachers about the new site, what's working for you, what isn't. So please, if you're a teacher or you love a teacher or you have a teacher, encourage them to go to the website, give us some feedback. But now also you can finally download Crash Course videos. Every video, if you go to the Downloads tab, every video can be downloaded now. Don't, unless you need them, because the server space is very expensive. But, you know, there are lots and lots of schools that can't use YouTube or don't have streaming video. There are some schools that don't even have wireless. So for those schools, it's really important for us to have this available, these downloadable videos. And that's possible thanks to your support at Patreon. I want to thank everybody who gives a little bit of money every month through Patreon to Crash Course. It's made a huge difference. So you can click any of those courses. Say you clicked astronomy. It's going to be pretty slow right now, I think, because so many people are on the thing. But you can, that's the wrong website. If you click, you can click any of those courses and it'll take you right there. Every video of ecology downloadable, every video of astronomy, world history, everything. So teachers can bring Crash Course videos into their schools even if they don't have streaming internet. So we're really excited about that and excited about the new website, and that's something that a lot of people have been working on really hard. I think now we're going to stop looking at that, and Hank is going to talk about something else.
Yeah. So we've been doing events for 7 years now. This is the first one we did. This not the one you're at right now, but VidCon. Back in 2010, we started this with the help of some of our friends who had previously run some conferences, LeakyCon, Harry Potter Convention, which I love a lot, and now also GeekyCon. So Melissa and Stephanie really helped us put that together and make VidCon a real thing. And then last year we started a new thing, Nerdcon Stories, which. Hey, thanks.
Woo!
Which is a conference in Minneapolis that was focusing just on sort of the art of storytelling, all the different ways that humans tell stories, whether that's music or whether it's true stories or they make stuff up. And it was a wonderful, great experience, and we're going to be doing that again. But we call it Nerdcon Stories because we wanted to put other words behind stories or behind Nerdcon and have other Nerdcon type things for people who are just really enthusiastic and excited about stuff. The one that we're going to do next is happening very soon in terms of my sort of time scale of how I think about these things anyway. And it's kind of strange to be doing this one next, but it is a thing that we have wanted to do for a long time. And it is, it's also something that we are able to control and do very easily because the thing that we want to do is NerdCon Nerdfighteria. So that conference will be in Boston. We will have a conference just for our community, for our world. We have invited a bunch of our favorite creators.
Look at these special guests. Emily Grassley.
So Hank and John
Charlie
Green will be there.
Everybody you love from
Yeah.
Nerdfighteria, including Maureen Johnson.
Yeah, Maureen will be there.
Many of the 5 awesome girls. The Nerd Writer.
Yeah.
Wheezy Waiter, Michael Buckley, Dr. Aaron Carroll of Healthcare Triage, Sabrina Cruz, who does Crash Course Kids. So many great people will be at NerdCon Stories. We're really excited about it. And it's in February.
Yeah, February 25th and 26th in Boston, Massachusetts, which I know is a bit of a way from here. Raise your hand if you're from the East Coast, though. Hey, thanks for coming to VidCon. We're going to do a thing that's closer to you. You're welcome to come. There's going to be a couple of, there's going to be a lot of fun things that we're going to be doing. You can go and buy tickets to that right now at nerdfighteria.com. So if you would like to come, if you'd like to learn more about the event, if you'd like to check it out, NerdCon Nerdfighteria is the place to go. We are launching ticket sales right now. It just happened. And we also have, if you are interested in doing that, as you're checking out, there's also the ability to sponsor someone who might not be able to afford a ticket. So if you have a little extra money, you can sponsor half or full scholarship of someone else who wants to attend the event at nerdfighteria.com.
Okay, it is now I get to announce something that I am really excited about. So last year at VidCon, Hank and I were like, textbooks are expensive and instead they should be free. And we were also like, and that's easy and we're gonna do it. and it is not easy. We were wrong, and I am sorry. And I think I'd made dramatic overpromises that day. It turns out that textbooks are really complicated and difficult, but I think we've done one. So I'm really excited. Right now, actually, if you go on your phones and you go to thecrashcourse.com/VidCon, you can see this. We're going to put it up on the screen now, I think. And what it is it is the first sample lesson of the Crash Course World History curriculum, which will be available in completed form in just about a month. So before your school year starts, Hank, why don't you hold this part up? Hank's going to hold up the pieces of paper so that you can see physically what it will look like when you print it out. But this is what it will look like on the internet when you are looking at it. So there's different. Obviously, it's different for teachers and students. We're just looking at one lesson right now. So this is lesson 3.3. But there's a lesson 3.1, a lesson 3.2, a lesson 3.5. One of them is about the Silk Road, for instance. One of them is about the emergence and the spread of Islam in the 7th and 8th centuries from the Arab Peninsula. But this one is about the Mongols. We thought we would start there. So right now I'm looking at the teacher guidelines. So there's teacher materials as well as materials for students. This talks about, for teachers, what learning outcomes we're looking for, and then walks through the readings, the Crash Course videos to view, but also non-Crash Course videos are integrated into this curriculum. And it is truly a complete world history curriculum. It is intended to, if teachers want to use it that way, to be something that they can use instead of a textbook. And it asks, we're really looking to, in the same way that Crash Course World History and Crash Course in general is trying to align itself to standards and make sure that we fulfill the obligations that you have in a world where a lot of teaching is teaching to the test. But we also want it to be joyful, because ultimately you're not learning so that you can get a grade on a test. You're learning so that you can better contextualize your life in the universe. And so we've tried to keep it fun. For instance, at the beginning of the Mongols lesson, you'll be asked to write an open letter to Genghis Khan, this great conqueror, in the manner of the Crash Course World History videos. But you won't know that much. You'll only know what you've learned from the videos and from doing some initial kind of like answering questions of things that were based in the videos. But then you will be doing some reading, including The Mongol Movement by Dr. Ann Chapman, and also lots of primary sources. So I'm going to switch over here to the student side of Crash Course curriculum. And so here, for instance, the questions do not have answers yet. But also, if you scroll down, you can get some of the readings. So we've tried really hard, and I gotta say a huge thank you to Joe on the Crash Course team, to Bob and everyone at BGC3. This is only possible. I mean, your Patreon dollars have had a huge amount to do with this, but this is only possible because Bill Gates' office at BGC3 and the Gates Foundation got behind this and really supported us. So we're very grateful to them. But one of the things that Joe, I think, has done a really great job of is bringing in primary source materials. So instead of just reading about Genghis Khan, although there are readings here about Genghis Khan, you're also reading about what people thought about Genghis Khan at the time. And of course, that varied greatly. There were people who were conquered by the Mongols who felt one way about them, and then there were people, within the community who felt another way. One of the things that's so fascinating about the Mongols, in addition to them being just an exception to everything else about world history, is that depending on your perspective, they were either incredibly helpful or incredibly terrible because they, had a lot to do with spreading trade. They were very open when it came to religious diversity, and so there were lots of things that. But they also, kind of did do some pillaging, a fair bit of pillaging, really. So you'll see here when you look at the site, and I have to say it's still a little wonky. It's not all quite finished, but I really wanted to show it to you guys today. You'll see that there's lots of perspectives about Genghis Khan and about the Mongols in general, and then also some historical background in the form of an essay right here about why did the Mongols succeed so much, and then why was their empire in the end so brief and it became disunified very quickly. Now it remained, I would argue, really important, but so then after you've done all of that, you've done this reading, you've written your open letter to Genghis Khan, you've read what life was like under the Mongol Empire, and you've read about the shamans and the religious diversity and things like that, and the way that trade increased during the Mongol Empire, which in turn was good for culture, or, at least led to a lot of cultural exchange. Then you end up writing a letter to me from the past, you from 2 weeks ago, or whenever you started the Mongols course, thinking about how you've changed the way that you think about this particular empire in history. And then there's all of this Common Core aligned stuff where, teachers are able to look at the different kinds of assessments that we have on those writing exercises. So that's just one lesson among many, many, many lessons. This, I think we can take it down now, but this is in total, hundreds and hundreds of pages. I think it's 300 pages long because we wanted it to be everything that a textbook is. And it'll be available. It'll be available as a complete package for students and teachers to use, whether you are learning from home because you're passionate about world history or learning in school. It'll be available before the start of the new school year, so hopefully sometime in August. And hopefully, we'll be able to come back to VidCon next year and show you not just world history, but also science courses and literature courses. And we really feel strongly about building out these curricular materials around the videos so that they can be more helpful to students and teachers. And of course, we feel strongly about making them available for free.
Thank you, John. That's, yeah. There was a thing that I said offhandedly one day. Textbooks should be free. And then it's a thing that is actually, and to be clear, this is John's baby, and you have done amazing work. I should also say that I think at one point we said crashcourse.com. It's thecrashcourse.com.
Sorry, thecrashcourse.com/VidCon is where you can find it. I also, since you just said it was my baby, I have to say that it wasn't my baby. I have 2 actual children. They are my babies. But secondly, it's I have to say, Stan Muller, who co-founded Crash Course Humanities with me, you guys have heard me talk about Stan over the years. Stan and Joe and everyone at BGC3 and Bob and everyone at BGC3, they have done all of this. And I'm very, very grateful to them. And it's been an extraordinary working relationship that I've gotten to have, especially with Stan, because we've made every episode of Crash Course that we made together. And one of the great privileges of this whole thing has been that 5-year friendship and working relationship. So I'm very grateful to him and really to everybody who worked on this project. They gave so much of themselves to it. They're working so hard on it. They really believe in this. And, hopefully it's going to be useful to schools and teachers.
All right, John. Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, let's answer some questions.
I have one. What is it like for your brother to have a brother that's in a band? I just wanted you to talk about my show. I want you to say nice things about me.
Guys, I love my brother. I think he's amazing. the first time Hank uploaded a song, it was in 2007. I think it was in March, the first year, Brotherhood 2.0. And when I started watching that video, I was like, Hank knows how to play the guitar? I'd never seen Hank play the guitar. I'd never heard him sing. I don't remember him being musical in my childhood. I mean, he was in the band, but that was because he was a nerd, not because he was good at music. And I was just blown away. I remember being just blown away watching that song because I was like, this kid is great. And then I have to say, from there, it's kind of been a progressive series of disappointments. Like, every time I've played so many shows with Hank, where we were on tour for Paper Towns or for The Fault in Our Stars, or we've been on tour tons together. And he forgets the words, he forgets the chords, he says,
It's
I'm
true.
sorry.
I'm not.
Can someone tell me the
He's right.
third verse of I Love Science?
Yeah,
I can't remember it.
I get there and I'm like, hey, anybody know the words who's not me? Because I don't. And then they start me off and it's good. I should really just have the lyrics open on my phone.
So if I could graph my relationship with Hank's music, there was that astonishing moment in March of 2007 where I learned that he could play the guitar and was also a very good songwriter. And then I would say it went steadily downhill. Still at a high level, but lower than it had been. And then last night, it went from like here-ish to like there. Like I've never. I don't know what happened since the last time we played a show, but he became a genius. My wife kept saying Hank's so good. The perfect strangers, I think, are what make Hank awesome. So thanks to the perfect strangers. I gotta search for the hashtag, hold on.
Yeah, John was getting his crash course presentation ready while I was backstage liking all of your tweets so that I could actually be prepared for the panel. I have lots of questions. This one's from Rosie, who asks, is it weird that I can never eat the butt of a banana? I'd never heard it called the butt of the banana, but I think we all know what we're talking about here, right? It's that thing at the bottom that isn't quite banana, but it's kind of banana. No, don't eat that. That's the reason why it pulls off so easily, so you don't have to eat it. That's not food. In fact, they tell you on the internet, open the banana from the bottom. And it's easier to open and you don't get banana strings. First, you do get banana strings. That's Tumblr lying to you. Second, then there's the butt sticking up right there at the top. You have this squishy thing. You're like, oh, now I have squishy banana butt on my fingers. No, open it from the top. There's a reason why we've been doing it. There's a reason why our parents did it. There's a reason why our grandparents opened from the top. Open the banana from the top, John. This was the most excited they got so far. It's like, hey, we're going to make textbooks free. Okay, good.
I got a bigger applause than the free textbook. Okay. Martha asks, what is the quality you most admire in each other?
Oh, dang. I like banana questions. What? Yes. You go first.
Hank actually lives. I guess I admire your values. I guess I admire your values and the fact that you don't make compromises that you don't think are acceptable. And I really admire that. I admire the way that you've managed to keep VidCon despite the influx of everything and the massiveness of it, and done the same thing in Vlogbrothers and in all of our work. You're the one pulling me away, saying you can't be sponsored by Diet Dr. Pepper and all that stuff. And if I didn't have that, I would be shilling for delicious Diet Dr. Pepper, which really does taste more like regular Dr. Pepper. And I appreciate that.
Dear Diet, I'm going to get to John, but first, dear Diet Dr. Pepper. Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper. Then what? than Dr. Pepper? Like, there's nothing else that tastes anything like Dr. Pepper. Like,
No,
what,
it's
Diet
funny you should
Mr.
say
Pibb?
that. That's something that only a non-diet soda fan would say, because every diet soda fan understands that they're saying it tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper than Diet Coke tastes like regular
Coke. Okay,
Coke,
I
or
understand
Diet
that.
Mountain
Oh,
Dew
thank
tastes
you.
like regular Mountain Dew.
That makes sense. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Diet
No.
Dr. Pepper is probably the single greatest human innovation of the 20th century.
I do hate diet sodas, so I did not understand that. And so I have to answer the question, though.
Second to the personal computer.
Second to the personal computer.
All right, go. What? Yeah, what do you admire about me?
This is going to be real sappy, but I love you as a parent. I think you and Sarah are such a great parenting couple, parenting team, and I don't know much about that, and I like it. And I like seeing you do it.
Thanks. Cassie asks, you have... What? What was funny?
I don't know. You just moved on? He said thanks. But, thanks for I don't need your banana right now. We should do a banana edition of Question Tuesday sometime.
No, we shouldn't.
Obviously. Ask your question, bro.
Cassie asks, you have both had such strong sock games this year. What's your secret? First off, Cassie, thank you. Thank you for noticing the strength of our sock game, and in fact, the ongoing strength of our sock game.
We both went Argyle today. These are actually Project for Awesome socks.
Yeah,
you could get these last year in the Project for Awesome.
Number one key to having a strong sock game, donating to the Project for Awesome.
It does help. We've actually been thinking about getting more into the sock game. I really like, and in fact, I should have, the moment I started to get into weird socks, I should have been like, how do I make my own socks?
Fortunately, Olga K. already makes awesome moosh walks.
She does make good socks. I don't know. I think that the sort of universe has come around to hey, we should have cool socks. Socks are a thing. You can wear them and nobody knows they're cool until you sit down. Because you don't see them until you sit down and cry. There's people in the front, they're like, I can't see your sock.
Emma, I'm tired of your answer, so I'm moving on to a new question. Emma,
I'm not very flexible.
That's mostly that was a shot of Hank's butt. Okay. Emma asks, have you fangirled at all at this VidCon?
Yeah.
You saw me lose my cool.
When?
Do you remember?
No.
When I came up to you and said, do you think it's okay if I say hi to him? No, I mean, I love Tyler, but he's been my friend for almost 10 years. I don't get nervous when I'm you don't remember?
It's been a long VidCon.
All right, so...
I don't make memories here.
I'm a huge fan of Nathan Zed, the third pew on YouTube. And I saw him across the room, and I was like, do you think if I go up to him, it'll be cool? And Hank was like, yeah. And I did, and we had a fairly normal conversation, but I was not having a normal conversation in my mind. I was like, this guy is an actual genius. I really think that.
Don't say too many nice things. It'll go to his head.
I don't think so. I think he's going to be fine.
Okay.
I just think he is an amazing YouTuber, funny, smart, deeply engaged with his audience, and it's great to see new YouTubers taking on that kind of responsibility with the platform. So I think it's awesome.
Every year there's someone who I see for the first time, and you have that moment when you're seeing a person you've seen a bunch of times on a screen, and then you see them and they're three-dimensional, and you can move around them and look at all their different body parts in whatever order you choose. And that was really not how I meant for that to sound. And then talk to them, and they the words come out of their mouths, and they sound like how they sound. It's I don't know why it feels so weird, but it feels weird. And the first time it ever happened to me was when I went to a They May Be Giants concert, and the most recent time it happened to me was when I met Jacksepticeye. And I was just like, you're real! You have height and depth, and your nose is in a different plane than your eyes. And my brain freaked out, and then I tried my best to totally be cool about it, and we had a nice chat.
All right, why don't you ask a question?
Because I was the last one talking, but I can
Okay,
go.
well, it seems like I'm asking all the questions because you're doing all the
Hey,
talking.
John, what's your guilty pleasure on YouTube? What do you watch that you're not so proud of?
I mean, I'm not going to say it. That's not how guilty pleasures work.
Well, you go for your like mid-range guilty pleasure. Mine is a show called Monster Factory, where these two guys who are very Monster Factory fans
There's one
out there.
Monster Factory fan in the house.
Yeah.
Possibly the creator of Monster Factory.
No. It's two of the McElroy brothers get together and they use character creators in video games to make like terrifying beings that then go on to have adventures inside of the game world. And you should watch the one about Barth Sampson. They create Barth Sampson, and seriously, I have never laughed so hard in my life.
I watch a lot of like cute videos. Like I'm not someone who's afraid to spend 30 minutes watching. You won't believe these 742 cute kittens. And I'll be there like 30 minutes later, like, that's the rare clickbait title that was correct.
Yeah.
I could not believe how cute those kittens were. Emma asks, when is my book coming out? I don't know, Emma, because I haven't finished it. The day I find out, I promise, the day I am given a pub date, I will tell you. Like, I will tell it what it is.
Yeah. Immediately on Twitter. You got to follow John on Twitter or Snapchat. You'll tell both ways?
Yeah, I'll try to mention on Snapchat. I'm just not very good at Snapchat. But I know it's been 4.5 years since The Fault in Our Stars, and I do feel weird about not having published a book since then. The problem is that I haven't written one since then. But I've been trying that whole time, and I'm trying really hard now. And yeah, I mean, I hope to finish something eventually. Writing a book is like not that hard compared to most jobs, but it's hard compared to whatever else it is that I'm doing.
A friend of mine, Amelia, asks, how do I make cool indie content in a hashtag brand world?
Oh.
We make sort of not indie content in a hashtag. We don't do a lot of branded content on our channel. And I think that there's always... We
don't do any.
Yeah, we don't do any.
That's the amount of not much that we do. But that's a very specific thing. I don't hold it against YouTubers who do branded content.
Yeah.
Because, it's important to remember that Hank and I have other jobs that have allowed us to, not take revenue from Vlogbrothers, but that isn't like that isn't meant to be a judgment on other ways of making a living making online video. It's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah, and we do it on both SciShow and Crash Course because those things, they require funding and
right.
We need
yeah,
lots
and we
of
do
ways
it
to
on
make
we
the
do it
money.
on Mental Floss too.
But
yeah.
I think that the important thing to know is that there's always an audience for new interesting stuff. I always have a desire in me to watch the thing everyone else is watching, to be part of this broader culture, and I also have a desire to find the weird stuff underground that's happening that maybe I'm going to be one of 100 or 500 people who are really enjoying it. And there's unique sensations and unique wonderful things about both of those kinds of viewership. And I love to be part of both of those kinds of communities. So I encourage people to search out that kind of content because it's great to both be wandering the halls of VidCon waiting for your meetup and wanting to go see Jacksepticeye, but it's also great to then be wandering around and see somebody who you really, really love who maybe doesn't have a huge audience, but you are just as passionate about that creator even though they don't have a huge audience, not because they have a big audience, but because you love what they do.
Yeah, and I think in a way, those are not always, but a lot of times those channels with smaller audiences that have really passionate audiences, well, that's where your life can change, from watching a show. I feel like there's a power to that connection that you just don't necessarily, it's not necessarily possible to replicate on the scale of millions. And I think we need to find ways to celebrate and support that content so there can be more niche audiences on YouTube, because for me that's always been the magic of it as opposed to something like cable. Hank?
Yep.
I don't have a question.
All right, I took some from Snapchat, John. What's your favorite recipe to cook? Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's easy. It's fast.
No.
And it's comforting. And I don't know why it's not. It just seems like the thing, man.
I hate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I like, oh yeah, let's identify ourselves by what we oppose. I really like, I make a bunch of different kinds of chili, and I really like making chili.
Chili is good. It's fun because you just got one pot.
Yeah, and it's hard to mess it up because you just keep putting in more stuff, and eventually it'll get good. That's kind of my thing with chili.
If the pot of chili is big enough, you can put a gallon of paint in there. It's still okay. It's got to be a really ocean-sized pot of chili.
I wouldn't say that we should start a cooking show.
I have a cooking show, John.
You do?
Yeah, Hank cooks on Snapchat.
Oh.
They like it.
I refuse to acknowledge your Snapchat.
What's your favorite moment in Nerdfighteria history?
Oh, wow. Gosh. Man, there's been a lot of good ones.
I know.
I mean, it's hard not to be nostalgic and think about the early days. I guess, I have a very vivid and I have a lot of really wonderful memories over the years, but the first time the Project for Awesome raised $1 million felt really, which I think was 2 years ago. That felt just amazing. Like seeing that seventh number go up and thinking, that this all works with nothing but volunteer energy. All of this money was raised without spending money to raise money. That it really did come from sheer goodwill. That felt really great.
There was something really great about that. Also because we were working up to it really hard, and a lot of people wanted to be the person to give the millionth dollar.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we got to within a few $100s, everybody started to give all at once, and we broke Indiegogo. And we were like, why aren't we there? It should have happened. So everyone stopped donating. Why did everyone stop donating? Maybe it's not going to happen. We were 2 hours from the end, and it's suddenly no donations were coming in. But yeah, it turned out that we had broken a very large website, which felt good in a way. And then it happened, and then it was everybody who'd been waiting all donated at once, and it was we were way above really quick. And it was I was dancing and crying. It was wonderful.
Do you have any other favorite memories?
I really like that I got to bring some questions that weren't mine, that were from the community, to the President of the United States. That was pretty good.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
You did a great job. I would have vomited. I would have been like, "Hello, Mr. President."
Yeah. No, I felt... So here's a thing that you probably don't know about the White House that I never would have imagined. There are no bathrooms on the entire first floor of the White House, because when they built it, that was a custom, I guess. And then it's we'd like to put in a bathroom on the first floor, but which historic White House room are you going to turn into a bathroom? So none of them. So you have to walk a really long way to get to the bathroom. And whenever I'm nervous, all I want to do is get fluid out of me through every orifice. And I don't know why evolution was hey, here's a good idea. Are you scared? Poo. That's gonna help with the bear chasing you. Maybe. And yeah, so I just kept, and the problem was that there wasn't a set time he was gonna show up. It was the president will be here any minute now. And I was well, I have to pee like a fountain, like at the Bellagio. So should I leave or not? And they were not? But if you're gonna pee on the president, you should go. So I held it.
You never think about that, when you're watching somebody on TV, you never think that person might not be having a good time primarily because they have to pee. Dancing Zebra Safari asks, will Crash Course be offered in different languages? Which is a great question. And Rosianna has asked me to emphasize that the website is thecrashcourse.com, not crashcourse.com, sorry. Thecrashcourse.com. Sorry, we couldn't get crashcourse.com. It was too expensive. We're just trying to look out for your Patreon dollars. Yeah, so getting Crash Course into other languages is a huge priority for us. We are working with a few different partners to try to figure out what is the best way to do that. Is it to dub it, which is relatively cheap? Is it to have hosts in other languages, which is expensive but would lead to probably higher quality content? And it would feel more authentic to people's experiences outside the English-speaking world. We're working on several possible solutions. That's another thing that I would really like to be able to come to you next year at this time in this place and say, not only do we have, 2 or 3 or 4 full courses available in the curricular materials, but also we've made this progress on the other languages front, because that's a huge priority for us and a place where we know we can do more good.
All right, John. This guy, he asks, would you rather wake up in a bed of mousetraps or wake up naked in a Starbucks?
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously naked in a Starbucks, because then it's an easy situation, really. You just wake up naked in the Starbucks and you stand up and you say, I'm very sorry, and then you leave. Whereas if you wake up on the bed of mousetraps, you're permanently screwed because you're never going to move.
So first, what you have to do if you wake up naked in a Starbucks is you say, I'm sorry, can I borrow your Starbucks apron? Because you got to put something on, so you got just...
Two questions.
Yeah.
1, may I borrow your apron? 2, can I have a latte? And just so you know, it's going to need to be free. I left my wallet wherever I was before I apparated naked to the floor of this Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't
what
ask...
What a ludicrous question.
He didn't...
In what scenario am I
Hey.
going to wake up naked in a Starbucks?
What if the mousetraps just weren't set? He didn't say. Maybe it's just a bunch of mousetraps that aren't open and loaded yet. But it's not like it'd be the first time I was naked in a Starbucks. I love Dear Hank and John. What's your favorite podcast?
What? No.
This person asks.
No, we are not moving on. The future of our collaboration is at stake. When were you naked in a Starbucks?
I don't even know if I've been in a Starbucks, like with clothes on.
Like ever?
I've been in like 2 maybe. We don't have any
I wrote the entire novel, The Fault in Our Stars, in a Starbucks, like the whole thing, every word of it.
So John, what is your favorite podcast?
Oh,
that's not our podcast.
I mean, my favorite podcast is this soccer podcast called Men in Blazers. There's 2 fans of it here. Not a ton of. I don't know how hard I have to work to get you guys to care about third-tier English football. But I'm going to do whatever work is necessary. I have devoted the rest of my life to making sure that all of you devote the rest of your lives to AFC Wimbledon.
Let's go to Mars!
In 2028! And not a day sooner. Hank and I, for those of you who don't know, if you don't listen to our podcast, Hank and I have recently made a bet about whether humans will go to Mars by 2027. Hank says yes. I say I hope not, because the terms of this bet are that if I win, our podcast will be renamed to its just and rightful name, Dear John and Hank, instead of Dear Hank and John. So I am working incredibly hard. This is going to be the other focus of my life, in addition to, working on the whole Crash Course curriculum stuff and all that, is going to be trying not to get humans to Mars. It's the big focus for me.
Until 2028.
Then you can go as much as you'd like.
That was sort of an announcement, actually, because that podcast in which we discussed the terms of the bet has not come out yet.
What is your favorite Sorry about that. That's spoiler alert. What is your favorite podcast?
I don't know. It's hard. I like a lot of podcasts. Probably My Brother and Me, though.
That's a great one. I really like My Brother
funny.
and Me. Yeah, it is great. I also really like Serial, and I like Invisibilia, and there's so many great podcasts out there.
I got a question from these two.
Yep.
It says, go other way. Fine, don't. It says, have you and John always gotten along?
There's a
No.
similar question, Hank. When you were teenagers, did you think you would be able to work together as adults?
That's what I thought about all the time. I was like struggling with, fitting in and liking girls. And I was like, but I wonder if my brother and I will be good business partners when we're adults.
Yeah, I mean,
And that didn't really come to mind.
to be honest with you, I don't think Hank and I thought that much about each other when we were teenagers.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I thought about mostly, me.
Yeah, right. And I was deeply concerned with the world's most interesting person, me. Yeah, I mean, I also went to boarding school when Hank was 11. Yeah, so I didn't know him, really. I didn't know him other than as like a 6th grader until really we started Brotherhood 2.0. I mean, in a lot of ways, the reason we started Brotherhood 2.0 was because while I liked Hank a lot and while I was fascinated by the work that he did and the choices that he was making in his life, like, we were not close. We never had been. And the truth is that this is wonderful and this has all been so wonderful, but by far the best thing that has come out of our collaboration together is becoming very close to my brother in adulthood, which is such a rare and wonderful thing. So I feel very fortunate for that.
But did we always get along as well as we do right now? No.
No.
Mere hours ago, we were getting along less well than we are right now.
I don't know. Actually, I was thinking about it recently, and like, with very few exceptions, Hank and I haven't had a lot of fights over the years. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Like,
I have punched you several times, but
No, he
only as
hasn't.
children.
Oh yeah, as kids, yeah, sure, we beat the crap out of each other, but like, you have never punched me as an adult. The only time Hank and I ever really had a real fight was at the second VidCon. I might have told this story before, but I love it. This was back when like...
I'm gonna interrupt first and say that everything John's about to say is true. He exaggerates a lot. He is not exaggerating in this story.
So, Hank, there was a problem, and we didn't know how to fix the problem, and we were trying to discuss it with ourselves. And I was like, what are we going to do about the problem? And Hank was like, I don't know what to do about the problem. And I was like, well, I also don't know what to do about the problem. And we were just, having that kind of
Like
conversation.
right backstage, like standing off to the side of the stage. The entire audience was out there.
And then Hank said, stop effing looking at me like that.
No, I didn't. I said, stop effing looking at me.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Stop looking at me. And
Just
I was
stop.
like,
Not like there wasn't even a way he was looking at me. I was just like, I need you to not be. Cease to be.
yeah, and I was like, but I mean, we're having a conversation, and like, usually the preferred thing is to make eye contact during the conversation, and like, I don't really know what else to do with my eyes in this situation. If we're going to continue the conversation, should I look down? Should I not look up at you, King Hank?
And that, yes, that is
And
probably
I didn't even know what
that's
to say.
probably-
He was like, stop looking at me, and I was like, all right. And that kind of ended the fight, because I was just like, I think I'm going to walk away and make this Hank's problem.
That is probably the meanest thing I've said to a person as an adult, and I am sorry that it was to you.
Well, I'll never let it go. Don't you worry. I'll make you pay me back 1,000,000 times over. Hank, what would you say to your younger self?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to mess him up. Yeah, he was going through some stuff, but he had to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just say to I felt like I was doing something terribly wrong when I was in high school and college. Like, I was missing out on what was supposed to be some great life that I'd heard about and I'd seen movies about and stuff. And I wish that I could tell myself that I was going to be okay, that like it was going to be okay. But I also wish. The other thing I wish, honestly, like, I was lucky to come of age. By the time I was, 14 and 15, we had the internet at home, and I was able to connect with people who shared my interests, and some of whom became extremely close friends of mine, and some of the best friends I've ever had. And I guess I wish I could have told myself that wasn't being a loser. I was having friends who shared my values and interests.
I think, yeah, that's really good. I would also tell my former self to not hang out with that particular guy.
Yeah, I would tell myself, don't go with that particular person to Alaska that summer. I would give myself extremely specific advice. You are going to want to go to Alaska. Don't.
Also, there's going to be a company called Google. Buy the stock.
Yeah. Don't bet on the Cubs to win the World Series. Hank,
Poor
we have
Cubs.
other questions?
Yeah, we do. What was
Okay.
the first camera you guys used when you were recording Brotherhood 2.0?
We used to record on tapes. We still have all the tape, or I still have all my tapes.
I have a lot of the tapes, yeah.
So I still have every tape from Brotherhood 2.0. So if in the future anyone wants to watch me say "Good morning, Hank, it's Tuesday" 472 times before I settle on an acceptably toned "Good morning, Hank, it's Tuesday," they'll be able to do that. Yeah, we recorded on Canon camcorders. We've always used Canon camcorders. That they are not paying us to say that. They've never given us a free camcorder or anything like that. I got a Canon camcorder because I needed the same camcorder as Hank because I'm so technophobic and totally technically illiterate that I needed Hank to walk me through every step of making a YouTube video. And then when Hank decided to upgrade his camera, that meant that I also had to upgrade my camera, etc. until today.
Yeah, well, now you have to get a new one completely because you lost it.
I know, it's kind of a bummer. On the other hand, I'd only had it for like a day, so it didn't have any footage of my kids or anything, that's the stuff you really worry about losing.
Maureen Johnson asks, Supermoon or soup on the moon?
Oh, God. I can't wait to hang out with Maureen at NerdCon, Nerdfighteria, because
It's gonna be
she
fun.
also asks those kinds of questions in real life.
She did. She interviewed us at NerdCon Stories, and it was very, very weird. It was a surreal experience that I almost like reflect back upon as if it were a dream.
Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys know Maureen Johnson's books. You should read them. She's a great writer. And we actually, when she was writing her book, Sweet Scarlet, I was writing Paper Towns across the table from her. We wrote together every day for almost a year. And I got to know Maureen really well. And like, her weirdness is not an affect. It
No.
goes all the way down.
Yeah, there's very few, like most people who are super weird that I know are trying to be super weird because they're like, I want to be weird so people will remember me. So I'm going to, like, and that's how I was and probably continue to be. But I have a couple of friends, Joe DeGeorge from my band and Maureen, who are just genuinely esoteric. That's not the right word,
Nope.
is it?
Eccentric.
Eccentric. He's the writer. Genuinely eccentric people. Like that goes all the way down.
Thank God there are two of us because like our individual weaknesses are so profound.
But we overlap well. What does esoteric mean?
It means like, like secretive and hard to understand.
Hard to
like,
understand, okay, yeah.
like Gnostic
Oh, or like, yeah.
gospels are esoteric.
Right, like a thing that only very few people know about.
Kind of.
Words.
Don't make me define the
Like
word
the word-
esoteric on stage in front of thousands of people.
The word
please.
esoteric is pretty esoteric.
All right, we're going to answer a few more questions, then we got to get out of here.
Hey,
Hank, is
John.
there anything else that we need to talk about? Is there anything else we need to talk about launching or doing or priorities for next year?
Pretty sure we hit all the points in the presentation that we prepared beforehand.
Quite right. Okay, what's the question?
Did you ever go through an emo phase?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I was something called goth.
I also was goth for a little bit.
I wore like a trench coat to school. Even it was Orlando, Florida, so it was kind of hot, but I still wore a trench coat to school. And I listened to a lot of The Cure, and I was a big fan of the 9 Inch Nails album, Pretty Hate Machine. And I remember my dad, who's here at VidCon, and who for many years like basically ran our company, and we love our parents so much. And anyway, my dad, when I was like 14, and in the absolute height of my rebellion against my parents, my dad asked to listen to this 9 Inch Nails album that I was obsessed with. And I was so excited for him to listen to it because he was going to hear the F word like 4 times. And he was going to know everything, he was going to know that I was effing awesome in a way that he couldn't be with his Beatles and his Beach Boys. And he brought back the CD a few days later and he said, you know, I really liked this. I liked it so much that I bought my own copy of Nine Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine.
Good dadding right there.
And I was like, damn it! Damn it! What do I have to do?
Yeah.
It is a great album, though.
My dad actually just told a bunch of my friends the story of the time that I ran out of gas with my girlfriend, who was super hot and goth, and my mom came to pick us up at the gas station so that we could get gas, and I was covered, and I put eyeliner on my lips, and she was like, "What on earth is happening?" And I'm like, "I could be doing drugs. I could be in the dead in a ditch. You don't know. This was gonna be a good night, and it was not. And now all of my friends know the story of the time I ran out of gas when I was 16 with my girlfriend Sarah. Now, thanks, Dad. That's great. Thanks for coming to VidCon.
All right, Hank, I think we got time for one or two more questions before we have to say goodbye to you. Thank you again for what has been, for me at least, like the best VidCon ever. I really appreciate it. It's been so fun to see all of you. Thanks for your great questions.
Do you put the cereal in first or the milk? Or the water? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm offended. I like my cereal the way that I like my oatmeal with water.
John puts water in his cereal.
It's not even weird. Lots of people put water in their cereal.
He
It's delicious.
dunks his Oreos in water.
It's delicious.
Can
Milk
we
is
all
awesome.
can we all agree that he's a monster?
No. You know
Monster.
what? There's a few people out there. Hank. They feel alone. They feel afraid. They feel that nobody loves them because they eat their cereal with water. And I want to say to those people, I am with you. It's literally four people, but I'm with you, four people. You're not alone. You're going to be okay. Stand strong. I put the cereal first, and then I go to my little water machine, and I just stick the whole bowl in there, and the water comes down, and it's delicious.
Wow, somebody just tweeted a picture of you broadcasting live on a screen in a Samsung store.
Whoa. Hello, people of Samsung. Have you considered the new Galaxy Edge? They aren't sponsoring me, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Just kidding. Hank would make me not take the money. All right, Hank. Last question. What is it going to be? What's it going to be?
Well, it's so hard to pick a last question, John.
I know.
Oh, that's the worst.
Esther's mom wants to know where your Esther bracelet is.
Oh. You got yours.
I think I got one in my pocket, actually. I can give it to you. Nope, those are headphones. I'll work it out, Lori.
There's so many.
There's so many questions coming in.
How do you pick? How do you pick the last one? Oh, they're going to start asking questions. That's not going to work.
Just scream it out.
I told you it wasn't going to work.
That's a very ineffective way to get to questions. That didn't work at all. I apologize. Some people.
Do you put your water in first and then the cereal?
Cereal first, then water.
Right, yeah, that's how I do it too, except with milk because I'm not a monster.
You're not alone. You're not alone. Hank, we're going to just run out of time trying to look for questions.
I know. Well,
I'm going to make Hank find the question.
Okay.
I've decided. It's over. The problem, though, so the whole problem with wit, I don't understand the words that you're saying because you're all saying them at the same time.
Oh, John.
Yeah, Hank's got it.
Who the F is Hank?
Earlier there was a question that was like, are there any questions you get tired of answering? Yes. Who the F is Hank?
You got to be prepared.
The funny thing about that question is that at no point in my life do I ever think, oh, I should have an answer for who the F is Hank. Hank is a massive incandescent gas. I'm quite fond of that answer.
Okay.
So, listen, thank you. Thank you for being in this with us. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for allowing us to make stuff with you for the last 9.5 years. And thank you for being truly awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night,
It's a
guys.
pleasure.
Take care.
Thanks for having a great VidCon. We miss you already. Goodbye.